I'd hate to die like your son, clawing at my neck, foam and bile spilling from my mouth, eyes blood red, skin purple. I'd never seen the poison work before. Tell Cersei I wanted to know it was me.
Welcome back to another video. What if I told you one old woman, sitting calmly in front of her enemy, won the war after she had already lost everything? No army, no weapons, no escape. Just one sentence that destroyed the most powerful family in Westeros from the inside. In this video, we're breaking down the genius behind Olenna Tyrell's final confession. The moment she revealed she killed Joffrey, and why that wasn't just a secret, it was a perfectly planned attack. We'll explore how Olenna turned her death into her greatest victory, why her words hurt Cersei more than any sword ever could, how she destroyed the Lannisters' confidence with just one truth, and why this moment proves that in the Game of Thrones, timing is more powerful than power itself. This is not just a scene. This is a masterclass in strategy, psychology, and perfect timing. Let's break it down.
Must have been horrible for you, as a king's guard, as a father. It was horrible enough for me.
Olenna Tyrell was one of the smartest people in Game of Thrones. She was old, but she was never weak in the mind. Even when her house had lost power, she still knew how to think ahead. That is why her final scene is so powerful. On the outside, it looks like she is just a woman waiting for death, but on the inside, she is still playing the game better than almost anyone else. When Jaime Lannister comes to her, he does not come as a friend. He comes as a soldier bringing the end of her life. Highgarden has fallen. The Tyrell name is in danger. Her guards are gone. Her home is lost. To most people, this would be the end of everything. But Olenna understands something important. Even when a person is about to die, they may still have one last choice. That choice is how they want to be remembered. Olenna knows her body is finished, but her mind is still sharp. She does not act like a scared prisoner begging for help. She acts like a queen who understands the final move on the board. Jaime wants a clean and honorable ending. Olenna uses that chance to speak on her own terms. This is the first sign of her brilliance. She does not wait for the Lannisters to define her last moment. She defines it herself. Her confession is not a cry for mercy. It is a weapon. She knows she is already trapped, so she uses the only power left to her, truth. But not truth for kindness, truth for damage, truth for revenge. That is what makes this scene so memorable. Olenna is not trying to save herself. She is trying to win one last time.
Tell Cersei I wanted to know it was me.
The biggest shock in the scene is when Olenna reveals that she killed Joffrey. For Cersei, this is not just information, it is pain. For years, Cersei has carried rage, fear, and obsession about who killed her son. She blamed Tyrion. She suspected Sansa. She hunted enemies, made plans, and filled her heart with hate. Olenna knows all of this. That is why her confession hurts so deeply. She does not tell the secret to be kind. She tells it to strike Cersei where it hurts most. The secret becomes like a sword, but one made of words instead of metal. Cersei wanted an enemy she could punish.
She's a monster, you do know that. She'll be the end of you.
Possibly.
Olenna takes that wish away from her in one moment. She says, in effect, "You were chasing the wrong people all along." This is a very clever kind of attack. A normal battle uses weapons. Olenna uses memory. A normal battle ends when one side falls. This battle keeps going inside Cersei's mind long after the scene is over. That is why her confession is so powerful. It changes the meaning of everything. Cersei's anger, her plans, and her cruel choices all look foolish after the truth comes out. Olenna also understands something else. A secret becomes stronger when it is told at the right time. If she had confessed earlier, the Lannisters could have acted, reacted, or used the truth for their own plans. But she waits until the very end. By then, the truth cannot save anyone. It can only hurt. That makes it much more dangerous. Cersei is a woman who likes control. She wants to believe she can understand people, predict danger, and strike first. Olenna's confession destroys that feeling. It tells Cersei that for a long time, she was not as smart as she thought she was. That is a very painful thing for someone like Cersei. She does not just want victory, she wants proof that she is always right. But Olenna proves the opposite. She shows that Cersei's anger and suspicion often made her blind. Cersei thought her enemies were always out in the open. She thought she could see every threat. Yet the real killer was right under her nose, in the form of a woman she had underestimated. This is why the confession is more than a shocking secret. It is a lesson in pride. The pain Cersei feels is not only about Joffrey, it is also about her own mind. She realizes that her hatred led her into the wrong direction. She spent time chasing Tyrion. She made Sansa a target. She let her fear grow bigger and bigger. Olenna's words tear apart that false confidence. That is a deep wound because it attacks her judgment, not just her heart. He sees that the Lannisters did not really win the way they wanted to win. Yes, they took Highgarden. Yes, Olenna is dying. But in the end, she still gets the final word. She leaves behind a truth that cannot be removed. So even when the Lannisters stand as winners on the battlefield, they feel the sting of defeat inside their minds. This is the real power of the scene. A sword can kill a person, but a carefully timed truth can live much longer. It can stay in someone's heart, repeat in their thoughts, and ruin their peace. Olenna understands this perfectly.
I did unspeakable things to protect my family, or watch them being done on my orders.
Olenna knows that Highgarden is gone and that the Tyrell house has been badly damaged. So at this point, survival is not her main goal anymore. She cannot rebuild her kingdom in that moment. She cannot undo the war. She cannot save her family's land. But she can still protect the image of her house. That matters to her. Her final confession turns the Tyrell family into something larger than a defeated house. It makes them remembered as dangerous, clever, and bold. Olenna does not want the Tyrell name to be seen as weak. She wants it to be remembered as the family that outsmarted a king. Even in death, she refuses to look small. That is why her words carry so much pride. She does not speak like someone who has been beaten into silence. She speaks like someone making sure history will remember her correctly. She wants the Lannisters to carry the shame. She wants the story to show that the Tyrells were not just victims. They were players. They were fighters. They were a force that could shake the royal family itself. The phrase, "Tell Cersei it was me," is powerful because it is simple and sharp. It is not long. It is not messy. It is direct. It says everything Olenna wants to say in one clean sentence. She does not need a speech. She does not need a plea. She only needs that sentence to leave a mark. This is how she protects the Tyrell legacy. She cannot save their lands, but she can save their pride. She cannot stop death, but she can shape memory. In a world like Game of Thrones, memory is almost as important as power. Olenna understands that. Her final act is not only revenge, it is also a final message to the world. The Tyrells may fall, but they do not disappear quietly. Timing is everything in this scene. If Olenna confessed too early, the Lannisters might have used the information in some way. They might have questioned her longer. They might have attacked her sooner. They might have taken away her chance to speak freely. But she waits until the poison has already been swallowed. That is what makes the move brilliant. Once the poison is in her body, the Lannisters cannot stop her. They cannot take back the truth. They cannot punish her more than they already planned to. Her death is already happening. That means she can say anything she wants without fear of losing her life again. This gives her complete freedom in her final seconds. This kind of timing shows how smart Olenna is. She understands that words matter most when the other person cannot answer in time. She makes sure her confession lands after the Lannisters have already won the physical battle. That way, they do not get a second chance to control the moment. She steals that control back with her final words. It also makes the truth feel stronger. If she had told the secret in the middle of a fight, it might have felt like panic. If she had told it while trying to negotiate, it might have felt like weakness. But she says it calmly, at the edge of death. That calmness makes her confession feel fearless. It shows that she is not breaking, she is choosing. This is why the scene feels so unforgettable. Olenna uses the last part of her life with perfect control. She does not waste a single second. She waits, she watches, and then she strikes with the one thing no one expected, the truth. Olenna's final confession teaches a simple but powerful lesson. The strongest move is not always a sword or an army. Sometimes it is a sentence said at exactly the right moment. She shows that even a person who is losing can still shape the story. Even someone facing death can still win in a different way. She also teaches that pride and fear can make powerful people blind. Cersei thought she could control everything, but she could not control Olenna's final words. Jaime thought he was bringing justice, but instead, he helped Olenna create her last great victory. That is the beauty of the scene. It changes who seems strong and who seems weak. Olenna also stands for a kind of wisdom that comes from age and experience. She is not fast or young. She is not a fighter in armor, but she is still dangerous because she knows people. She knows how they think, what they fear, and what hurts them most. That is why she can defeat them with words. Her mind stays sharp even when her body cannot fight anymore. In the end, Olenna's confession is not just about Joffrey's murder. It is about power, pride, and memory. It is about a woman who refuses to leave the world quietly. She chooses her own ending. She turns her last breath into a final victory. And that is why this scene is one of the smartest and most satisfying moments in the story. If you enjoyed this kind of deep psychological breakdown, then make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And don't forget to drop a comment below. Tell me, do you think Olenna's final move was the smartest in the entire Game of Thrones? Your support helps the channel grow, and I'll see you in the next video.